Was this not a gorgeous weekend and another gorgeous day today? Well, now that the weather's so nice, a lot of us like to, or maybe need to, get outside and get some work done in the yard. But if we're not careful, that time outside can turn into an itchy, uncomfortable nightmare.
Oh yeah, and if you've ever come across poisonous plants, you know exactly what we're talking about. In today's Angie's List report, how to identify and remove poison ivy, oak, or sumac. Homeowner Shirley Branham loves tending to her yard and garden, but she can't seem to escape the itchy wrath of poison ivy. Every summer for the past 10 years, she's suffered through a horrible rash.
I usually just notice one or two little dots, which eventually, unfortunately, then spread all the way up my arm or on my legs.
Shirley says she's tried getting rid of the plants, but she hasn't had much luck.
I've tried digging up the plants. It doesn't seem to stop the growth for some reason, so I now try to spray with a weed killer and then dig the plant.
According to the American Academy of Dermatology, 85% of people are allergic to the oil in the poison ivy, oak, and sumac that causes the relentless rash. So your best bet to avoid the discomfort that can come with an allergic reaction is knowing how to spot these poisonous plants. First, there's poison ivy. Angie's List says poison ivy grows in all areas of the continental United States. It has compound leaves with 3 leaflets that connect to a single stem. Young poison ivy leaves are light green and have serrated or toothed edges. Experts say it can grow as a vine or a shrub.
Poison ivy has a greenish berry that turns white as it matures, and those berries will persist into the late fall and into the winter, which, unlike most fruiting trees or berries, it's a late season food source for a lot of wildlife species.
Next on the list, poison oak. Although it's most common on the West Coast, Angie's List says poison oak is also found in southeastern states. Just like poison ivy, experts say poison oak has 3 leaflets that connect to a single stem. Its leaves resemble oak tree leaves, and it grows as a vine or a shrub. Then there's poison sumac.
Poison oak and poison ivy look fairly similar, but poison sumac has much more leaflets much more leaves on the leaflet.
Angie's List says poison sumac has 9 to 13 leaflets per stem. The leaves are round with pointed tips, and it grows as a shrub or small tree. When it comes to all of these plants, Angie's List says it's important to know birds often feed on their berries and consequently spread the seed. So look for the plants in areas where birds hang out, on or under trees or near fences.
I have found it in the yard, in the trees, in between flowers, and so always look before you reach.
That's an important step because experts say anything that touches the poison can carry its oil.
So you have to be extremely careful. And then when you wash your clothes, they say to do several washes and then rinse the basin with hot water.
Also, Angie Hicks, founder of Angie's List, says these plants can grow to great lengths, so you may need help getting rid of them. Angie's List researchers found many lawn care companies won't go near these plants, but there are some that do specialize in removal.
There are companies that can help remove these types of plants, but you need to understand how they're going to do it and what they're going to charge. Some companies could charge as much as $65 an hour to tackle this project.
If you do hire a company, Angie says there are questions you'll want to get answered.
Are they going to use chemicals to remove the plants? Are they going to dig the plants up? Also, how long do they guarantee their work? Will they come back if the plant reappears? And also, don't forget, these plants like to spread. So if the plant is actually in your neighbor's yard, you want to understand that problem as well.
Angie's List says you may be able to tackle smaller plants on your own, but be sure to wear protective clothing and know how to properly dispose.
Most of the time, it's probably best to put it in a plastic bag and just throw it away. But keep in mind that anything that touches it will carry the oil, and you can get the contact dermatitis from that oil.
And more on that oil, Angie's List says it can stay on clothing, camping gear, and garden tools for up to 5 years. That's why it's important to wash anything that comes in contact with the oil. Also, Angie's List says you should never burn these plants or use a weed eater or lawnmower to get rid of them. You'll just distribute that oil.
Is he talking about it? Well, something that we don't want to get rid of, our crepe myrtles. They can be gorgeous, they can be colorful if you know what you're doing. Gardening expert Jenny Rosenkrantz says first, you need to stop the chop. She's here next to explain.
And many women want to stop the chop on their hair as they get older because they want to keep as much of it as possible. Find out how you can get long flowing locks in an instant. And ladies, what if I told you you could have beautiful lashes without mascara? We'll show you how it's done. Delmarva Life, we'll be right back.